All right, ready to dive in? Today, we're heading down under.
Australia, you mean?
You got it.
Got it.
We're looking at a program that, well, it's making a splash, literally.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So we've got these excerpts from an academic book all about health, well-being, and physical education.
Right.
And it talks about this partnership.
Uh-huh.
And it's helping primary school kids get swimming and water safety lessons.
Okay, that's great. Important life skills, especially in Australia.
Absolutely. But here's the twist. It also helps university students.
Oh, interesting. How so?
It gives them real-world teaching experience. Pretty cool, right?
It is. Sounds like a classic win-win. You know how much we love those.
We do. So this chapter we're diving into, it walks us through the whole thing from the very beginning. Like, how did this even get started?
Well, it all began with a guy named Dr. Lynch.
Okay.
He noticed something.
With that?
University students, they were graduating with tons of knowledge.
Makes sense. They're studying. Right.
Yeah. Right. But there was a problem. They didn't have the right certifications to actually teach.
So you couldn't actually put all that knowledge to use.
Exactly. Specifically when it came to swimming and water safety. See, in Victoria, to teach swimming, you absolutely need this thing called the Swim Australia Teacher Qualification.
SAT. Right.
Yep, SAT for short. And it's mandated by the Victorian Institute of Teaching. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
So it's like you could know everything about teaching swimming, ace all your exams. But without that SAT,
You're stuck. High and dry. Can't teach.
oof, that's rough. All that
Yeah.
education. And you can't even get in the pool with students.
Exactly. And to get that actual certification, well, it meant more time and more money.
Ugh, that's the last thing students need, right?
Tell me about it. Dr. Lynch saw this and was like, nope, not on my watch. He decided things needed a shakeup.
I like his style.
He wanted a more hands-on approach. Learn by doing, you know.
Oh, I love that. So what did he do?
Well, first things first. He didn't just talk the talk. He got himself qualified.
No way. He became a swimming instructor.
He did with Estra Swim. And then he got a certificate in training and assessment.
Talk about leading by example.
Right. He wasn't messing around. Then he reached out to a couple of key organizations.
Okay, who are we talking about?
ST Swim, for one.
Makes sense. They're all about swimming instruction.
Yep. And the other one, the Australian Swimming Coaches and Teachers Association, ACTA for short.
Okay, so two big names in swimming. What was his plan? Just like a friendly chat.
Oh, he had a strategy, for sure. He wanted to create a program
Oh,
where university students could earn their SAT while studying, kill two birds with one stone.
so they'd be fully qualified and ready to teach right after graduation. Smart.
Exactly. No more extra hoops to jump through.
Okay, so did he partner with both or?
Well, both S-Swim and SCTA, they have pretty similar programs,
Right.
but ultimately he went with ACTA.
Any particular reason?
A few, actually. For starters, their program was more affordable. Big plus for students on a budget.
Always a good thing. Anything else?
This is the really cool part. The ASCTA qualification. It's recognized internationally.
Whoa, seriously?
Yep, by the International Federation of Swim Teachers Associations. It's like a passport for your teaching skills.
So graduates could teach in Australia, but also in loads of other countries.
You got it. Talk about opening doors.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've got ACTA on board, the students are getting certified, and they're set for international opportunities. Awesome. But there's one small problem.
What's that?
You can't exactly teach swimming without a pool.
Huh.
True that. So how'd they solve that one?
Partnerships. Dr. Lynch, he's the king of collaboration.
He is.
He teamed up with a local leisure and sports center,
Okay.
and they were amazing. They offered their pool
Nice.
and all the equipment, free of charge.
Wow, they really got behind the program.
They did. They saw the value it would bring to the community. Okay, so let's recap. We've got the university, we've got ACTA, we've got a pool, we're on a roll. But there's one more piece of the puzzle, right? Let me think.
To teach swimming, you also need life-saving skills.
Oh, right, of course. Can't forget that.
So guess what Dr. Lynch did?
Let me guess. Another partnership.
Ding, ding, ding. You're on fire.
Hmm.
He brought in Life-Saving Victoria. They provided resuscitation training at a discount, no less.
He thought of everything.
He really did. So now students had all the qualifications: swimming instruction, water safety, life-saving, the whole package.
Wow. It's amazing how it all came together.
I know, right? But hold on. We're not done yet. On top of all that, he got two primary schools involved, Churchill North and Lumen Christi Catholic.
So they were the ones actually getting the swimming lessons.
Yep. But did he just go straight for this massive collaboration, all these partners at once?
Actually, no. He was pretty strategic about it.
Makes sense. That's a lot of moving parts.
He knew that trust was key. So he started small. The initial goals were pretty modest.
So no pressure on the schools.
Exactly. He wanted them to feel comfortable and then let the partnerships grow naturally.
Smart move. Start small, build trust, and then expand. But all these partnerships aside, I'm sure there were still costs involved. Who was paying for all of this?
Well, funding was kind of a team effort.
Okay, how so?
Monash University, where Dr. Lynch worked, they covered the pool hire.
Makes sense. They were the ones running the program.
Right. And remember those qualifications Dr. Lynch got himself? The university reimbursed him for those.
Oh, so they were invested from the get-go. But wait, did they apply for any grants? Or fundraisers?
Nope. And that's the really cool part. See, all the partners, they were basically contributing in kind.
Meaning?
The free pool access, the equipment, the discounted training, it all counted as their share.
I get it. So they were putting in their resources and expertise instead of just cash.
Exactly. It kept the initial costs low
Yeah.
and meant they didn't have to rely on external funding.
Wow, everyone was truly pulling their weight. Talk about a collaborative spirit.
Right. So we've got the partnerships, the funding, the big picture. But I'm still curious, how did this actually play out in practice? Like, what was it like for the students?
Oh, that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
Let's take a closer look at that after a quick break. All right, so we've got this amazing program, strong partnerships, clever funding, a well-structured approach. But the big question, did it actually work?
It did. And get this. They didn't just assume it was a success. They wanted to know for sure.
So they tracked the program's impact.
Exactly. They were all about monitoring and evaluating every step of the way.
Okay, so how did they do that?
Well, Dr. Lynch, he kept a detailed journal, all his observations, any challenges that popped up, all documented.
So kind of like a behind-the-scenes look at the program's journey.
You got it. But one person's perspective, even the program leaders, it's not the whole story.
Right, of course. You need more than that.
Exactly. So they did observations of the actual swimming lessons, and they had informal chats with everyone involved.
Oh, wow. So like the university students, the teachers, parents?
Yep, all of them. Even the staff at the leisure center.
So they wanted to hear everyone's experience.
Absolutely. Get a full picture of how things were working.
And what did all this feedback tell them? Were people happy with the program?
Overwhelmingly, yes. It was all positive, really. But here's the thing.
What's that?
They didn't jump into formal evaluations right away.
Really? Why not? If everyone was happy, wouldn't that be the perfect time?
They wanted to build trust first, especially with the schools.
So the schools needed to feel completely on board before any official measurements.
Exactly. It was all about a genuine partnership, you know?
Makes sense. You can't force honest feedback.
Right. So once that trust was solid, they tapped into existing evaluation systems.
Oh, smart. So no need to create something new from scratch.
Exactly. They used ASCTA's student evaluation system. It's standard for their courses.
Okay.
And for the university side, they used Monash's student feedback surveys. They call them Set to You.
So two birds, one stone. And what did the results show? Anything interesting stand out?
Oh yeah, tons. For the ASCTA evaluations, the average satisfaction score was 4.7 out of 5.
Wow, that's almost perfect.
It is. And a lot of the students, they specifically talked about the practical experience. They loved being able to actually teach real kids.
That makes sense. Hands-on experience is so valuable.
Right. One student even said being able to understand the strokes and practice them before teaching was super helpful.
I bet. Must have been such a confidence boost.
Totally. And it wasn't just the ASCTA evaluations.
What else?
The SET2 data from Monash, it showed a 100% increase in student satisfaction compared to past years.
Whoa, that's huge. This hands-on approach, it was clearly working.
It was. But it's not just about the numbers. The SET2 surveys had some really interesting comments, too.
Like what?
Students kept saying how much they valued getting those certifications, the SAT, the CPR. They knew it would help them get jobs later on.
Ah, so they were thinking about their future careers. It wasn't just about the grade in the class.
Exactly. And they also loved Dr. Lynch's teaching style. They felt like he really went above and beyond to make the course relevant.
Sounds like he was a great mentor. But even with all this positive feedback, I'm sure there were some bumps along the way, right?
Well, yeah, there were a few challenges.
Makes sense. It's a new program. What kind of challenges?
One thing they noticed, they needed to work more closely with the schools going forward.
Oh, interesting. Why was that?
At first, they relied on the swimming instructors at the leisure center to handle the school coordination.
Okay.
But that created some communication issues.
I can imagine. things getting lost in translation. So what was the solution?
Direct communication. Dr. Lynch realized they needed to be in touch with the schools directly. No middleman.
Yeah, that makes communication so much smoother.
Exactly. So a lesson learned there. But overall, despite this little hiccup, the program was a smashing success.
It sounds like it. What happened next? Did they just keep it going as is?
Oh, Dr. Lynch wasn't done yet. He wanted to share what they learned. He presented at conferences, wrote articles, even a whole chapter in that academic book we're looking at.
Ah, so spreading the knowledge, that's fantastic.
Right. It's not just about creating a successful program, it's about sharing it with others, inspiring them.
Exactly. So what are the big takeaways here for our listeners? What can they learn from this program?
Well, it shows the power of partnerships, for one, and the importance of thinking outside the box.
It's like, who would have thought to combine university teacher training with primary school swimming lessons?
Right. But it worked. And it wasn't just about filling a gap in teacher training, it was about benefiting the whole community.
The ripple effect.
Exactly. And that's what's so inspiring. It's a model that could work in so many other areas.
It really is. Okay, so we've explored how this program started, how it worked, the successes, the challenges. What key takeaways do you want to leave our listeners with today?
This program, it's a reminder that sometimes the best solutions come from connecting the dots in unexpected ways.
Like seeing those possibilities that others might miss.
Exactly. It's also about working together, recognizing that we can achieve so much more when we collaborate.
Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say.
It does. And it's a reminder that education, it's not just about the classroom. It's about equipping people with skills that will help them throughout their lives.
Well said. And in this case, it's about those essential life skills, especially in Australia, where water safety is so crucial.
Absolutely. And it all starts with giving those future teachers the best possible training, which is exactly what this program did.
So as we wrap things up today, what's the most important message you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I'd say this. Think about those seemingly unrelated fields or passions you have. What could you combine to create a win-win like this?
That's such a great question. The possibilities are endless. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, what other amazing combinations are out there? Just
Yeah.
waiting for someone to, connect the dots.
It's all about seeing things differently. What if we did this? Or how about we approach it from that angle?
And that's what's so cool about this swimming program.
Totally.
Dr. Lynch, he saw a problem.
Uh-huh.
University students needing real-world experience. Kids needing swimming lessons.
Right.
And he was like, why not solve both at the same time?
It's brilliant. It wasn't just about, checking a box for teacher training. It was about making a real difference for the kids, for the community.
That ripple effect, right?
Exactly. It goes way beyond the classroom.
This deep dive, it's been really eye-opening.
It is inspiring, isn't it?
To see what can happen when people work together.
And think creatively.
Exactly. So what's the biggest takeaway for our listeners today? What have we learned?
Well, I think it's this. Innovation, it often comes from seeing a need
Yeah.
and then finding a creative way to meet it, even if it means connecting things that seem totally unrelated.
Like, sometimes the best solutions are the ones we least expect.
Right. And it's about collaboration. We can do so much more when we team up.
Teamwork. It's not just a cliche, is it?
It's not. This program proves that. And
Yeah.
this program, it also reminds us that education, it's not just about, textbooks and exams.
Right.
It's about giving people skills they can actually use, skills that make a difference.
And in this case, those essential life skills, swimming, water safety, that's huge in Australia.
Absolutely. And it all starts with those future teachers, giving them the best possible start.
Well, I think we've covered a lot today, learned a ton. What final thought would you like to leave our listeners with?
I'd say this. What passions do you have? What skills? What if you combine them in a new way?
What could you create?
Exactly. The possibilities, they really are endless.
Great question to ponder. A huge thanks to everyone for joining us on this deep dive. It's been a real pleasure exploring this program with you.
It has.
Keep those brains buzzing, keep exploring, and we'll catch you on our next adventure.